Hi, this is Mitch Doan, and along with Jamie Richardson, we're your hosts of the Break-Thru Active podcast. We aim to deep dive into health and fitness that will help bring you a better understanding of topics that are of interest to you and can help you on your own journey. If you are enjoying the episodes, we'd love for you to leave us a rating on the platform you listen to your podcasts. Enough from me, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Welcome back again to the Break-Thru Active podcast. I've got another very special guest with me today. All of our guests are special, but this one's extra special because he's a fellow Knights tragic like I am. But we've got Greg here with me, Greg. So thanks for coming on today, mate. It's good to have you here.
Pleasure, Mitch.
It's before we jumped on the air, I just said to Greg, we need to watch ourselves that we don't end up talking footy too long, because quite often when we catch up and chat, it just ends up taking up our whole bandwidth. So we'll try to keep that part short today. But a little bit about Greg, we'll sort of hear from him. But him and his partner Liz, they come along to our gym in Adamstown and have done now for going on a year, I think we'd be looking at. So they've been with us for a little while, and it's been great having them in. But I guess a good place for us to start, Greg, I just wanted to sort of see what you've done in the past with training. I know you've been around sort of fitness and sport and everything for a long time. So I wanted to hear just a little bit about what you've done in the past, sports, and then sort of into the gym stuff and exercise as well.
Yeah, sure, Mitch. So I grew up playing rugby union through my juniors and teens. Had a little break and then went back in my early 20s. Never reached any dizzy heights, unfortunately. But yeah, played a bit of first grade in Newcastle, but just loved it for the social scene, the camaraderie and the mateship, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, probably from about 18 through to about 28, played rugby in the winter and rode surf boats in the summer. Very involved with Dixon Park Surf Club and the Waratahs Rugby Union Club here locally. So yeah, that were probably my fittest years. I was pretty fit all year round. We'd do a fair few road runs in preparation for rugby, trained a couple of nights a week, and then played on the weekends. And then I don't know if you know much about competitive surfboat rowing, Mitch, but you spend literally hours a week in the boat refining technique. You'd spend hours in the gym getting strong and fit, and then you might compete for like 10 seconds, cop a wave over the bow, and you're putting the boat back on the trailer and starting all over again. But both of those things were very social, but also pretty demanding from a fitness point of view. At that time, I was I went to uni and did PE teaching, but didn't last very long. Only lasted a couple of years, but then worked in health. So yeah, I did a PE degree. So I was pretty focused on health and fitness and that sort of stuff, and enjoyed the content of that, but not so much the school environment. Let me think. So yeah, did sort of that how's that thing, and then the balance thing, and probably bounced around gyms for a fair bit. Melissa was a gym junkie. She was a how's that girl. We met a bit later on in life. But yeah, we both kind of been into fitness, although life catches up with you. We both got busy. I run my own business, and Lissa's got a busy career, and then we got 4 kids. So yeah, I'm not saying I've been a health and fitness guru, fallen off the rails many times. But then, a couple of years ago, decided to sort of get back into it, and have been really, really happy with the environment that you guys create.
Cool. Yeah, no, I do appreciate that, mate. And I think it's probably a fairly familiar story that we sort of hear and sort of discuss with a lot of people, where they've been sort of on and off with things over the years. And obviously in your case, you were very much, around it in your earlier years, and went into PE teaching and everything. And then life just takes its path, and sometimes it's not the top priority like maybe it is when you're at other stages of life. But it's obviously by the time we sort of meet with people, they've circled back to it, and they are sort of in it for different reasons as well, I think, maybe than when they're in their teens or 20s. So what's sort of the main thing that you are sort of wanting to get out of your, I guess, your training and sort of doing this on a regular basis now?
Melissa's a bit younger than me, but definitely from my point of view, it's a really important sort of period in my life to prioritize being as healthy as I can. I think it's good for your mental health as well. We're sort of averaging, well, the last couple of months we've been pretty good. We're averaging sort of 4 days a week, which is a bit of an effort for us given our busy lifestyles and what we've got on. But it's definitely good for mental health. We enjoy training together. We sort of egg each other on a little bit, and keep each other honest. Sometimes one of us will wake up and not feel like going, and the other one will have a crack at them, and so you force yourself to do it. But I also want to pay a tribute to you guys, Mitch, and probably mainly you. I think the format that you, and by the way, everyone, Mitch has not bribed me in any way, shape, or form. Although if you want to, Mitch, I'm open to that. Yeah. And I've told lots of people about the formula that you've got, Mitch. You've put something together pretty special, because I just love the variety. You never know what you're going to get. I usually look on the app and find out what the workout is, and I'll tell Melissa, what it looks like. She goes, "No, don't tell me. I don't want to know what it is." So she turns up blissfully ignorant, not knowing what's going to happen. I always look at it and go, "Oh, okay, bloody." Like today, you doubled up on what is it?
Did some clean and jerks, I think we did today.
Yeah, hand clean and jerks. You doubled up on us and smashed us, right? And then the dreaded burpees, I hate those and all the rest of it. But the combination of there's no session that's exactly the same. There's great variety. There's a great balance between strength and cardio. And then within strength, there's a great balance of all the different things that we do. But I think probably the number one thing is the people that you've got. I've been to lots of gyms, and sometimes you put up with the characters that are there, but you've got a really great team that genuinely care and want to engage with their customers, and I've not seen anything like it, mate. You've obviously got a really good philosophy of what we want to achieve with our customers, and it looks like you make sure that your people understand that, and your people buy into that, and they want to deliver. So yeah, well done. That's probably the thing that stands out to me in terms of what you guys offer that's special. It's the customer experience, and also just the variety and the range of stuff you put us through. Not that we're always happy with what we're doing, but when you walk out, you go, that was good.
Delayed gratification that you enjoy it later
That's
on.
It. No, when it's done.
I do appreciate the kind words there, mate. And yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the team, because, and I wanted to touch on this in a bit with what you do for work. But, if you don't have a good team behind you, you can't do it by yourself. And that's where, over the years, we've had Brody and Steve and Kelly at Cardiff, and obviously Jamie as well, and just all really work together, and always continuing to try to improve the product and improve the service. And, obviously you mentioned the workouts, and they're important. That's what you guys come in for. And I do my best to keep it varied, so it doesn't become too monotonous or boring, even though you might hate me at the time. But I think, like I was sort of saying there, we're always sort of trying to strive to be better and interact with our members, and like you kind of touched on it, it's the other members as well. Like, it's as much our team, but I think that the sort of culture that we've been able to create over the years, it's attracted those type of people, the people that are wanting to be social, they're wanting to be friendly, they're encouraging each other, they want to have a chat. They're not the type of people that come in and it's all about themselves, and they have their headphones in, and there's nothing wrong with those people. There are plenty of gyms around where you go in and you do that, and that's that's cool, but it's just not what we've been about. And I think over the years, we've just attracted the people who are wanting a little bit more out of it than just reps and sets and weights and sweat. You know, that's obviously what a big part of it, but then also the sort of community that we have. And that's what sort of helps people continue to turn up when they've got other people there they get along with, they enjoy the environment. It doesn't feel like a chore. It's something that they enjoy, which I think, you know, is a bit of a shift for some people. They're kind of used to exercise being this thing that they hate, but they feel like they have to do it. So it's like this forever ending argument in their head of should I or shouldn't I? So we try to sort of remove that as much as possible and make it a bit easier for people to come consistently. But no, I do appreciate that. And I always sort of like hearing that about the team and always sure to pass that on. But I want you, we kind of touched on it there a bit. You said earlier you run your own business, and I know a little bit more about what you do, but you're sort of in the leadership space. So what if you just sort of tell us briefly about what you do and how you, I guess, work with your clients and within your business to help them?
Yeah, sure, Mitch. I guess I was on a video call. You're my 6th video call today. I was on a video call to a prospective new client today, and they just sort of asked me the same sort of question. You know, what's the journey been like? I guess after graduating with a PE degree and doing a bit of casual teaching, I realised that teaching wasn't for me. So I actually worked in health promotion and disease prevention with New South Wales Health for about 10 years. And that was good. It sort of combined my academic background of PE teaching. I actually did a Master's in Medical Science in health promotion and disease prevention through the Newcastle Uni while I was at Health. And that, I suppose I was about 10 years in health, and public sector's not for everyone. And while it was good while I was there, and I certainly benefited from the extra qualifications I got, I, was interested in doing something different. And I was using an advertising agency at the time to put some of the health messages into, marketable messages. And I've been with Health for about 10 years, and the ad agency owner asked me to join them after 10 years. I guess I'd worked pretty closely with them in crafting the messages, and some of the campaigns that I worked on with them had won some awards. So that kind of gave me a fork in the road sort of thing. So I took it, and so I was with advertising and marketing for about 10 years. And again, it was a fantastic experience, but took a lot out of you. It was a pretty full-on lifestyle. So I went out on my own after about 10 years as a marketing consultant, but found that when you build relationships with clients, particularly business owners, not dissimilar to yourself. I was in there initially to help them with their marketing, but when you got to know them and you got to know their business, they'd inevitably say to you, look, we got this issue over here. Have you got any insights about that? So it kind of morphed from a marketing consultant to a bit of a generalist business consultant. And then after probably about 10 years of doing that, the penny dropped with me, and most of the problems and issues that businesses had were people related, and most of the problems most of the issues that led to people problems were culture related, and most of the issues around culture were leadership related. And so the penny dropped, and I connected those dots, and so I realized that in order to help organizations get better results, they had to build a better culture, and the best way to build a better culture was to build better leaders. So worked in that space over a period of time, developed some IP around that, wrote a book, put it into practice in terms of workshops and corporate programs, and sort of been moving away from the small end of business to medium and large business as a consultant about how they improve their culture and get better results on the back of developing their leaders.
Interesting. Yeah, because I think I don't know if I spoke with you, but I studied business at uni many moon ago, and originally wanted to go down that route of working in marketing. I did marketing and management and was going to do, pursue that, and would have had to move to Sydney. And I just didn't really fit with what I wanted to do in my early 20s, and ended up here. So that does, it's all sort of, I guess, interesting for me to hear that from someone who's, applied it and done it in the real world, because I learned a lot of that in textbooks, which, as you know, is very different from
Sure
the practicality of it. But from what I've seen, even talking with other business owners, and this is nothing to do with fitness, but it's a lot of business owners probably feel like they've got an advertising and marketing problem, but the real problem, like you said, isn't really that at all. It's about all the other things that are deeper than that. And sometimes when they are, maybe they do some marketing and advertising, and they get some more customers and clients through the door, it just highlights some of those other issues that they've got. So is that something that you've seen, where it's like maybe they think they need this, but in reality it's sort of this, and this that sort of are things that are the problem?
Yeah, Mitch, you're absolutely right. In fact, I'll drop a quote on you by Richard Branson. And it's a bit controversial, and typically most of Branson's quotes are a little bit controversial. This one goes something like this: customers are not the most important people in your business. Your staff are the most important people in your business, because if you look after your staff, they'll look after your customers. And that's a little bit controversial because, as you said, most businesses, small, large, and in between, think that their problem is we need more customers. And in lots of organisations, there's a thing called churn. So they get customers in and customers go out. Get customers in, customers that go out. But it's the smart ones that go, let's get them in, but let's keep them when they're in. So if organisations look after their staff, so much so that they really care about their customers, they'll look after their customers, and the customers will stay. So it's a little bit controversial. In the, how many times have you heard, the customer's always right? We're a customer-centric organisation. We are customer focused. Well, that goes so far, but when you really look after your people, which ultimately is the job of leadership and culture within your organisation, you end up having a really good business.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can understand why it would be controversial, but I agree. And the way I kind of have looked at that, maybe not so eloquently, but if you probably worked with businesses or seen businesses that you frequent, and if they've got high churn of staff, it's a terrible look. Not only is it a terrible look, but that's going to maybe the customers, like let's say us, for instance, if we had new trainers every couple of months, they wouldn't be able to form connections with you guys, and you guys probably wouldn't enjoy things as much, and you might end up looking for somewhere else to go. So it kind of all comes full circle, where it's like, if you look, like you said, if you look after your staff and you sort of lower the churn on that, I think it kind of has a lot, that sort of whole loop will begin from there. But
if you've got a high turnover of staff, what it does is it dilutes your culture. If you've got a core of staff that are really engaged, really care about the business, really want to be there, it means that the things that go to make up your culture, like your values and how you treat each other, and whether you're engaged and you care about the business, that's really concentrated, and it stays concentrated. But if you're turning staff over all the time, every time a staff member walks out of your door, they take a little bit of the culture with you, and it becomes dilute. You add new people in, they haven't bought into the culture to the same level, and again, the culture becomes diluted. Whereas when you concentrate on what you stand for, when you care about your people, when they're engaged, it becomes a really concentrated culture, and your customers can tell.
Yeah. Not to mention just the time, energy, and money it takes to train new staff, and that whole process. Like, that's just and we've been very fortunate. For us, we, Brody and Steve have been with us for sort of 4 or 5 years now, since we kind of expanded our business and sort of doing what we do now. And we've got Kelly, and we had Rach, and we just have always fortunately had good staff, and I think it's kind of part of the reason why, a lot of reasons why they enjoy their job, but one of them is because it's just a great industry to work in, helping people. get fit and stay healthy, and really sort of helping them have better lives. And I think that sort of all feeds together for it to be a really good place to work, especially when we you hear of other people that are working up in the mines, and they're doing work which is tough work, and they're underground 12 hours a day, and it's kind of like, well, compare it to that sort of thing, we're pretty lucky to be doing what we're doing. So, no, I appreciate you sharing your insight there, mate. Before we finish up, we'll keep it brief, but what's the Knights' ceiling this year, mate? Where are we going? We've had a couple of wins. We had a good draw on the weekend.
Well, I got to say, Mitch, I'm a bit more upbeat than what I was at the beginning of the season. Yeah. There was a whole bunch of things that happened in the off season that I was pretty filthy about, and we spoke about the article I wrote for the Newcastle Herald, criticising the club. I reckon I might have earned the right to criticise the club when they deserve it, Mitch. I'm actually a foundation member. So 36 years ago, I haven't got my car keys here with me, but my most prized possessions are a little key ring that's got foundation member number 439 on it. So I paid $600 36 years ago just for a key ring to say I was a foundation member. And well, and since then I've been platinum season ticket holder, and I've been a sponsor, and just about everything other than pulling on a jumper.
They might have used you a few years there in the mid 2010s. You might have got it right.
Yeah, Melissa reckons I care too much about them. I'm happier when they win. So at the beginning of the season, I based on the last couple of years, the culture wasn't looking good, and I just think there were some issues there, and they've made me look a fool, Mitch, because they've gone out and had a bit of a dig this year. I was in Mudgee last weekend, watching them live, and they had a real dig. 90 minutes against one of the fancied teams of Manly. They really had a go, right down to the last seconds where Daly Cherry-Evans was looking at winning golden point with a field goal. He had three Knights players in his face charging that down, and Adam O'Brien actually credited that, the effort was there such to the point where they were, and Cherry-Evans has kicked 26 NRL field goals, right? So he's probably the most accomplished game finisher in the comp. And we didn't give up. So, I was really proud of the effort. How they're going to go the rest of the year, I just hope, I would be happy if they kept improving. I'd love it if they made top 8. Not sure where that is, but Mitch, I went to every home game through the 3 wooden spoons in a row. So it's not as if I'm a fair-weathered fan, that only follows them when they're winning. I've been through, the darkest hours. So, I love going to the Knights, and love it when they win, but love it more when they, make you proud, sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think, you've lived in Newcastle your whole life. I haven't, but even from being here the last decade, like the fans want is for them to try their best. And it sounds so corny, and the same thing is you want your kids to do when they're young. But if they play and they give their full effort and they lose, the crowd and the fans can deal with it. It's when it kind of looks like that they give up a little bit in the second half, and they get 4 tries run in the last 15 minutes, and ends up being a blowout. And that's, I think, what can piss you off.
I agree with you, Mitch, but I wouldn't mind another premiership in my lifetime, right?
That would be nice.
I was there in 97, and I was there in 2001. Yeah. Oh. And I've got a pact with my daughter and her partner that we're all going to get Knights tattoos if we win a premiership in my lifetime. I'm shouting, apparently.
There you go. You're shouting.
Yeah.
That'd be, they'll never say never, mate. We're only, a couple of signings away from being, something like what the Panthers have got. They were no good up until a few years ago, and now they're shining. But it's been promising. They've got a few of these newer players, a few young guys coming through. Obviously, Ponga's out, and there's a bit of talk he's going to be out the whole season. But I think it's giving some other people some opportunity to step up, and they seem to be gelling quite well. They've got Dom Young on the wing, even though they dropped him for that game, but he's been playing well. The new young fullback, he's been playing well. He's not even that young actually, but Lachlan Miller. And then
26, I think.
Yeah, the halves are going okay, and the forwards are always decent. So it'll be a good year. And we've got I think we've got the Warriors at home this Sunday, Easter Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday night, and the Warriors are coming off a magnificent win over those weak Sharkies. I don't. Do you know anyone who follows the Sharks?
I think
not anyone of note. Yeah.
No one who definitely works for us. That's for sure.
But the Sharkies were 20-0 up against the Warriors and got beat in the dying stages of the game. Geez, they're weak, those Sharks, like their supporters.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you said that, not me. I need to make sure I share that little clip with.
No, Steve won't be listening. He would have given up after about 2 minutes. He would have been. he would have been too bored listening to us because he didn't have an opportunity to put his gibber in the middle of it.
Yeah. He's always the main conversationalist when you're talking with
That's
him.
it. No, to be the centre of attention.
We'll leave it there, Greg. It was really good having you on, mate. And above everything else, I'm really glad that you and Liz are enjoying the gym, and it's like you mentioned, notice you've been really hard at it the last few months. You've got your daughter's wedding coming up later in the year, I believe. And
September.
Yeah, so that's kind of in the back of your mind where it's a bit of extra drive and motivation to sort of keep working hard through these cooler months here in the middle of the year. But no, we love having you there, mate, and it's been a pleasure having you on and good chatting.
Good on you, Mitch.
All right. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for listening, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If there is a topic you'd like us to discuss that we haven't already, please make sure you reach out in Facebook Messenger and we'll do our best to cover it in the upcoming episodes. For those of you enjoying the podcast, we'd love for you to like, subscribe and leave us a rating. It really helps us grow and spread the good word. Hoping you're all having a great day, and we'll be sure to see you on the next one.